All right, so how's it going? The NHL expansion draft just happened the other day, and Vegas picked up a whole bunch of picks. Winnipeg changed spots, so the order of the entry draft is all messed up. But I thought, hey, anyways, let's go ahead. Let's make an NHL mock draft for the NHL entry draft that's happening in just over a day. So here we are. I've got my picks all updated and everything. I made an amateur list, so hope you enjoy that. As a disclaimer, I am not an expert at any of this. I've just watched these guys a whole lot. So I think I have a fair idea of how they'll do, how they are, where they fit. I have reached for some guys in certain areas just because I find that some of these players fit better in certain areas just based off how they play. That's pretty much it, right? So I guess let's get started. I will try to best explain my decisions for all these players being in those areas. So yeah, without further ado, let's go to New Jersey. So in New Jersey, I have them taking Nolan Patrick, the big center from Brandon. Not much to say here. It's pretty much been Nolan versus Nico the whole year. I think the only reason that is because Patrick was injured for a lot of it. If he wasn't injured, he'd be the clear-cut number one. He is the best player available in this draft. And in my mind, there's no competition. The only reason New Jersey would take Nico in this position is if they were deeply worried with Patrick's injury history. And I mean, that's fair with everything. He had, I think, 2 sports hernias, so that's, pretty brutal. But when it's all said and done, skill-wise, just all-around playing-wise, I think he is the best player available at number 1. Moving on to Philly at number 2, I think they take Nico Hischier because that's the guy. That's who's left at number 2. He's the best player available. And Philly's at this point just kind of picking up New Jersey scraps unless they go crazy off the board and go kill Makar, which they absolutely shouldn't with that decor they have in Lehigh Valley. I think it's a pretty easy choice for them. Just pick up whoever's left. And in this case, I have it as Nico Hischier going to Philadelphia. And number 3, Dallas. This is kind of where I start diverging from the norm, I guess. A lot of people have Miro Heiskanen, Cale Makar, just all these D-men going there. I think they go Gabe Vilardi, the big center from Windsor. Because I was talking with someone and they brought up a great point. Spezza's getting older. By the time Vilardi is ready in about 2 seasons, he'll be ready to step into that Spezza role, fill in for that team so they'll be able to continue to be competitive with that great forward group they have. So I think Gabriel Vilardi here, it makes sense. You could argue Miro Heiskanen, but I like Vilardi a little more. I think he's a better skill guy. And at number 3, I think you want to take the best choice for your future. It's the NHL Entry Draft, obviously you want to do that. But at 3, I take Vilardi going to Dallas just because, again, with the forwards, it makes sense. And number 4, we got Colorado, the biggest losers of the draft lottery. So, who do they get? I don't think they go with a defenseman here. Everyone's saying they love Cale Makar. They love Cale Makar. I am a huge Owen Tippett fan. Just watching this guy, he's a great scorer, and I think that's what Colorado needs. I've been looking at their, depth chart on the wings. Obviously, they got Mikko Rantanen, they've got Duchesne Landeskog. Who knows if 2 of those guys are even going to be on the team within a week. I really like Owen Tippett. I think he's just going to be a great scorer on that team. He's a really exciting player. And I value him a whole lot higher than Heiskanen on this Colorado team. So that's where I'd go at number 4. So number 5, Vancouver, the other losers of the NHL draft lottery. They have to take a center. They have Bo Horvat, and that's their center depth going into the future. I have them taking Cody Glass, but it's really close. It's either Cody Glass or Elias Pettersson. I think they love both of those guys. Cody Glass is kind of his stock's been rising the whole way through. So you could argue that why not? Why can't he get even better? So he's just an all-around solid center, and that's exactly what Vancouver needs. So at number 6, we get Vegas. He's the flashy center. He's the guy they need to establish the team going forward, get the flash going with Vegas. He's the exact player that City needs. And by the time when they're ready to compete in maybe 2 years, after they've traded all their expansion guys away, I think he's going to be the guy going forward. He's boomer bust potential. So they're gambling here on Casey Middlestat, but no pun intended, right? No, but I've watched him. He's always got at least one highlight play a game, but other than that, you don't tend to notice him too much. He completes some passes, he gets some zone exits, but apart from that, he's got that one play where he scores an insane goal, and then you're just kind of like, where's Middlestat? Where'd he go? But yeah, like if Dallas doesn't go with Velarde at 3, I think Vegas picks him up at 6, which is gonna be massive for them. But yeah, that's just who I have going based on how I feel right now. So I guess that's 7 on my my mock draft. We have the biggest drop from everyone else's list. We got Miro Heiskanen going to Arizona. And I mean, I'm not a big fan of Heiskanen. I get he's a smart guy. He's like a Ua Levy like player from last year. But compared to these other high-end forwards, I don't compare him as lightly. I know other teams would be high on him, but to me, he's maybe my 3rd favorite defenseman in this draft. I like Cale Makar, I like Timothy Liljegren a whole lot more. But Heskanen's like the safe pick. He's the guy who you know is going to be a solid NHLer. You're not asking for anything more of him. He's going to be like a smart player. He's going to be a good player. Makar and Liljegren, they're the guys who you're like, oh, like these guys are either going to be nuts or they're going to be nothing, right? So, I mean, Heskanen's a safe pick, best player available at this point. So, I think Arizona goes with him if he's still there, right? But this is all hypothetical at this point. Number 8, Buffalo. I think Buffalo fans are going to be jumping with joy if this actually happens. But Cale Makar going to Buffalo. I love Cale Makar. Just watching him in AJHL games, this guy honestly like just breaks ankles left and right. He plays like a forward. He never starts in the defensive zone, but that's because his team is so good. They never even play in the defensive zone. So I guess you could question his, defensive ability, but he's a solid player. Like, you watch guys go in for checks on him, and they just, like, fall right down. Like, no one can hit him. He's just, like, he's a solid NHL. Like, he's, in my opinion, he's going to be a solid NHLer. So, depends on how, elite he'll be, but I really like Cale Makar. I'm a huge Cale Makar fan. Number 9, we get Elias Pettersson. Again, I'm a big Elias Pettersson fan. Just watching him, he's absolutely a great player, great skill guy, and I think he goes to Detroit. He's the classic Detroit pick, fits the Detroit mold of, all those Swedish guys, great European players. I think he'll just add to that. He's going to be in my opinion, he's going to be one of the top players in this draft. I really like Pettersson. He's an elite skilled guy. So, yeah, like Detroit, if they get him at 9, like that's huge for them. So at number 10, we got Florida. I think they take Martin Necas, like however you say that. My reasoning for this is kind of weird. It's because I don't really have reasoning. I think he's just, it's like next man up mentality. And just for whatever reason, he just looks like a guy Florida would just take. Just watching him, he just reminds me of just their whole forward group. So I think they take Necas. They just lost Marchessault. They lost Smith. They need guys who can, fit that mold sometime soon within the year. I think he can make the jump into the AHL within the next year. And then we'll see from there. But yeah, it's just kind of next man up with this Florida pick. At number 11, we got Los Angeles. I have them taking Timothy Liljegren. I'm a huge Liljegren fan. I think he's a good compliment to Drew Doughty, or a great compliment to Drew Doughty. The mono hurt him as he was playing. Obviously, as soon as he returned, he was not the same player at all. But if you watch any of the clips before that, he was just, he's the power play guy. Great skater, perfect puck carrier. He's such a smooth skating defenseman. I hate to use words like that, but, that's what he is. He's such a great player. I'm a huge Liljegren fan. Just can't wait to watch him. At 12, we got Carolina. I have them taking Nick Suzuki, the small center. They need forward help. They keep getting all these D-men. They last year they got Gauthier, which, it's building on that. But Nick Suzuki, in my eyes, is a top 5 level talent. He is just amazing to watch. He's great hands, great IQ, great everything. It's the size factor that scares GMs off. I don't think Carolina will be scared by this, just because they've gone with Aho. They have Skinner. They have all these guys. And in their eyes, they've got a smart GM too. That's the most important thing out of all of this. Having a smart GM who can see the skill over the size. And Nick Suzuki is definitely one of the better players in this draft. So falling to 12th for him is just amazing for Carolina. With Vegas' second pick, 13th overall, I have them taking Juuso Välimäki. Great D-man that doesn't just stay at home. He can jump into the play. He's a safe guy. I think Jets fans would have loved to have this guy at their pick, but Vegas just kind of is starting to build at every position. Get another D-man, get another forward, get another D-man, get another forward, right? So I think Yusuf Alamaki is going to be a good, steady rock for them on D. Tampa Bay, after I had them getting a D-man, but they got Sergachev, so I think I guess they can ease off on there for the first round. I have them taking Eli Tolvanen, great scorer from the USHL. Just goes to another great scoring group in Tampa Bay. They just get all these exciting guys. So what's stopping them from getting Tolvanen, right? Just another scorer in Tampa. With Vegas's third pick, so far it's the last one of the first round. Obviously more trades could happen, but 15th overall for Vegas, I have them taking Elias Anderson. This guy can play center, he can play wing, extremely versatile player. He is a top end forward. I think they'd be ecstatic to have him just because of his versatility. So going forward, that's kind of what you need. You take best player available. If they can fit somewhere in more than one spot, great, go for it, right? And that's exactly what Elias Anderson can do. 16, Calgary, Klim Kostin. I'm actually not sure if this guy actually exists. I've watched pretty much all these guys except Klim Kostin. I can't find anything on him, any games, nothing. He's a huge question mark to me, but everyone's saying he's got high-end talent. He's a high-end player. I think if anyone's gonna go jump on him, I think it'll be Calgary, because they usually they've got an exciting forward group, right? They've got great scorers, great two-way guys. Why not add to that, gamble on it? They got Anderson on D. I don't know how Shillington's developing back there, but they've got him. They've got a good D group. So I think they take the risk on Costin. He's supposed to be a great, just not an amazing player, but right, no one actually knows if he exists, right? So I think they go with Klim Kostin. At 17, Toronto, I have them taking Eric Brandstrom, the defenseman. He's undervalued because of his size. He's around 5'10", 170 pounds, but classic Toronto pick, huge skill, amazing D-man. I'm a huge Eric Brandstrom fan. He's just, the way he just skates through people is just, there's not much to say. It's the classic Toronto skill pick, right? The Nylander, Marner, right? So I think this would be a great pick for them. Shore up that back end a little more. Great skilled D-man. I don't know if there's much to say about him. 18, Boston, I have Christian Vesalainen, left wing. Think they'd like to add on that forward group a little more. And I mean, this pick is pretty much his best player available. That's why I have him going here. He's a pretty big kid, so I think he just fits the Boston mold. Number 19, San Jose. This is probably my biggest reach in the entire draft that I have. I have Pierre-Olivier Joseph, the defenseman, going to San Jose. And okay, here's why. Watching this guy play, he's like a defensive black hole. He just sucks up the puck, offensive zone, defensive zone. No one is scoring when he's on the ice, okay? So watching him play, I see similarities to Chris Tanev. Just because not a whole lot happens when he's on the ice. Just because he negates everything. But again, Chris Tanev, great player. Pierre-Olivier Joseph, I'm extremely high on this guy. And I think San Jose would love a guy like Chris Tanev. I mean, you could argue Marc-Edouard Vlasic to a higher extent, but I think he's closer to a Tanev kind of guy. And just add on to that defense. And we get to the 20s. So St. Louis, I have them taking Kyler Yamamoto. Okay, I'm so used to saying Kyler. Apparently it's Kyler. So Kyler Yamamoto, extremely high-end skill guy, similar to Nick Suzuki. Again, just falls because of his size, but I think St. Louis would be stoked to get this guy at 20. 21, I got Robert Thomas of the New York Rangers. Hardworking center, not much to say, can play in all zones, great player. And I think, more than anything, New York's just happy just to have a first-round pick again, right? So I think they'd be extremely happy with Robert Thomas. Again, London Knights program, they do nothing but good over there, so Robert Thomas, New York Ranger. Ed Michael Rasmussen, the center, huge guy from Tri-City. A lot of scouts don't really like him. They're a fan of his size, his frame, his ability. Not too high on his power play points. I fully agree with that. Just all of his points coming from the power play. You could argue middle stat, but just something about the way middle stat or not middle stat Rasmussen plays. It's just kind of it's not top 10 talent to me, but I think getting him in the 20s is absolutely like great value. I think draft day we might see him going late teens, but if Edmonton can pick him up at 22, like you go for it. He's a great guy at that spot, just not top 10 in my mind. 23, Arizona, have him taking Isaac Ratcliffe. They took a D-man earlier. I think they just go forward here just to complement that D-man. And Isaac Ratcliffe, again, same mentality. Next man up. He's the best player available. So I go with him. And 24, Winnipeg. This is the pick they got from Vegas, that they got from Columbus. This is where I start seeing all the defensemen start going. I have Callan Foote. Callan Foote. They need defensemen on that back end. And I know all the fans are shouting for defensemen, so I think they go with this guy. He's, again, next man up, the next defenseman to go in my mind. Same idea with Montreal. I have them taking Nicholas Hague at 25. They got Sergachev out. They're, I guess, kind of gutted on the back end. So this guy, I guess, starts the rebuild on the back end for Montreal. Big, rough defenseman. You know, I think he fits the Montreal mold that they're trying to build, a new identity. So I think they go Nicholas Hague at 25. 26, I have Chicago taking Connor Timmins, the defenseman. I think this is the best case scenario for Chicago. This guy's a young D-man, great at running the power play. And I think every Chicago fan, I think this is who they're targeting. And I think, there's very good reason that they're doing so because this kid's a great player. I think if you're a Chicago fan, you'd be stoked to have this guy. 27, we got St. Louis again. I have them taking Urho Vakanainen. What a great name. Probably top 5 name in the draft. But I don't think that's why they take him. They take him just because, again, my reason for taking them is even stupider than the name reason. But I have them taking him to complement the forward they took with Kyler Yamamoto. So they take Vakanainen. Continues the trend of taking D-men. So what is that? 4th D-man in a row? Yeah, great. So why stop, right? 28, Ottawa, Ryan Poehling. Great two-way. Ottawa loves their two-way guys. So Ryan Poehling just add to that group. Build a sturdier forward group. You got some pretty decent defensemen there coming up with Clayson. And CC, obviously, protect him during the draft. But there's some guys I like in Ottawa's defense, so I think they'll go with a forward here. 29, Dallas, their second pick of the first round. I think they just say, screw it, let's take a goalie, because we need goalies. So they take Jake Ettinger, by far the best goalie in this draft. He's the future of Dallas goaltending, in my opinion. And yeah, I don't know if you could tell, but I'm a huge Jake Ettinger fan, and I think Dallas would be so happy to get this guy. Because if they don't take him at what is it, 29, I think it'll be a reach, but Arizona might take him at 23. They might trade down a few spots, but I think Arizona would be the other threat to Dallas in that area. But in my mind, I have Dallas taking Jake Ettinger at 29. 30, Stanley Cup runner-up, Nashville. I have them taking Jason Robertson. They just lost James Neal. Obviously, Robertson won't come in enough to make an impact of missing James Neal, but they need forwards. They keep drafting defensemen, right? So I have him taking Jason Robertson, left wing. He knows when to shoot the puck. Every time I've watched him, he just kind of just shoots the puck from a somewhat questionable angle. Not even questionable, just he shoots it whenever, and the goalies always seem to get caught off guard. So I think that's just kind of what you need. He seems to find the net really easily. I think Nashville will be happy to add another forward to their groups. And the Stanley Cup champs, Pittsburgh, the pick 31. I have them taking Henry Jokiharju. Get another good, smart D-man, right? He saw how good it is to have a bunch of D-men, so I think they take Henry Jokiharju. Yeah, not much to say with him. He's just a great, smart player, and he just seems to fit that Pittsburgh mold. Kind of reminds me of an Oli Mata to a lesser degree. Maybe a little bit of a better skater, but I like the IQ for both of them. I think Mata's slightly the better player, but obviously Jokiharju still got time to develop and all that. But I just see Pittsburgh going with Henry Jokiharju. So that's my draft. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you didn't get too mad at my picks, right? This is just how I'm feeling right now about all these teams, just how I think they'll go. It'll change as the day develops, as we get closer to the draft. But hope you enjoyed it. If you have any picks that you want to berate me on, go ahead, leave them in the comments below. And, it's always good to learn something about all the teams. It's just this is what I have going right now. Obviously, there's the Joseph pick for San Jose. There's, what else we got? We got Tippett, we got Velarde. Those picks might be kind of questionable, but, right, like, this draft is honestly so wide open. After pick number 2, in my mind, like, it can go any way from pick to, like, 22. So, yeah, like, just enjoy the ride, have fun with it, and yeah, thanks for watching.